Welcome to Sleepover Cinema, where we analyze the films that created the collective unconscious of those who have listened to Sleepover Cinema from the very beginning. I'm Hannah Leach.
And I'm Audrey Leach. We are the sister filmmaking duo also known as toopinkpictures, and we haven't stopped thinking about these movies since we first saw them.
We're going to explore the good, the bad, and the nonsensical of the movies that first inspired our love for film in an attempt to answer the question, are these movies actually good? And at the end of the day, do we really care if they are?
And today, we are celebrating 1 year of Sleepover Cinema! Woo!
Woo! Yes, so... Sorry, go ahead.
It was me as an air horn.
Oh, I liked it. Do it again.
Thanks. I was like, pew, 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 pew.
Great. That's appropriate because today is the Sleepover Cinema first in many ways, but most significantly in way one, which is that we are celebrating our first year as a podcast. Our first episode released like 366 days ago, if you're listening to this on the day that it came out. And we just are going to have a nice little hang with you all today to celebrate. We are not talking about a specific movie today. We are just reveling in our existence.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I hope you guys stick around and just listen to us BS. But I feel like this episode might be more fun, actually, than some of our other ones because we're going to freeform. And we're going to mention a lot of you guys, so you'll probably, if you are active on our Instagram, you will probably most likely hear yourself shouted out. So
the Super Spectacular today will have Audrey and my respective worst movies / episodes upon rewatch, our favorite movies upon rewatch, and also listener questions. So we're really excited.
Among other things, among other tidbits.
Yes, among other things. Before we get into any of that, remember back to the Mean Girls episode when we said that we would make up a song for you if you left us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts? I know you probably thought there's no way they're going to do that shit, but guess what? We are going to do that shit. And we had a review from Maddie this week. She left us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, and she gave us a couple little pieces of information about her, primarily. Well, I guess just one piece of information, which is that she's studying to be an elementary school teacher. And she wanted a 10-second song in the style of one Hilary Duff. So, here it is, Maddie, just for you. I'm not saying your last name, even though you told us your last name, because I feel like that would be weird, but I know your last name. Hee hee. And here's the song. Maddie's gonna be a great teacher. Okay, Maddie, I hope you enjoyed your 10-second song. I know I had a grand time coming up with it for you, and Audrey as well. And if you heard that song and you were like, wow, that was really an experience, I would like to be involved in that as well, you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, and we will do the same for you. Any artist that you want.
Nothing could be freer or easier. So first, we are going to start off with sharing each of our top 5 worst movies upon rewatch. Then we're going to do listener questions. Then we're going to close out with the top 5 best. So obviously this is kind of difficult because we were trying to figure out like what our parameters are for rating these. But I think rating the worst movies to rewatch and ended up being the easiest criteria because I certainly know what mine are. Like, it did not take me a long time to come up with these, and so we're gonna find out. We're gonna like reveal at the same time.
Yes.
If they're the same or not, because I don't know. We don't know what each other's are. So
yeah. And these are all the movies we've covered up through Easy A. That is our frame that we're pulling from.
Yes. So, what was your I guess we should go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right?
Yes. 5 being the least bad of the bad, I guess.
Yeah. So, what was your 5th?
Okay. My fifth bad was Princess Diaries 2.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, you didn't really like that one that much.
Yeah, because I remembered it being way better than it actually ended up being. And like today, because I originally had something else written here, but then today I was going back through our episodes and like making sure I still stood by my opinion. And I came across Princess Diaries 2 and I was like, wait, I remember this one like disappointing me. And then I listened to part of our episode about it. And one of the things that we said was that it's like tonally all over the place. Like it's like physical slapstick, and then it's like drama, and then it's this and that and the other. And also that it feels like when you're watching it, like you're watching like a home video or something. Like it doesn't feel like anyone's taking it that seriously, but like it's annoying in that way.
Yeah, I think like I have the nostalgia for it. You don't really so much. So
I mean, I kind of do.
I definitely watched it more for a fact.
I buy that.
Okay, well,
what was yours?
Mine is Mean Girls.
Okay, that was my original.
Yeah. I think well, obviously it's just fresher on our minds, so that's one thing, but it's just been so deeply overhyped, reworked, reused, and worn down to every like everything that she has to offer has been exploited to the point that
to the fullest extent of possibility.
Yeah, to the point where like the bad elements of the movie, the outdated things, like outshine the good things to me.
Yeah.
Other than like Lindsay Lohan and the performances in general, like, and Damien obviously, like you know what I mean? I don't know. I just wasn't. Yeah. I wasn't blown away by it. You know.
Yes. Okay, my fourth worst was Ella Enchanted.
Oh, poor Anne. You're coming for Anne today.
Know, but here's the thing: we've done 4 Anne Hathaway movies, and the other 2 were Princess Diaries and Devil Wears Prada, and those have stayed out of this ranking. So it's nothing against her. Again, with this one, it's just that it just didn't live up to what I remembered. Like, it was a lot less fleshed out than I remembered, and that was a bummer.
Yeah. Yeah, it is not very fleshed out. It's really not.
But I will say at the same time, if these fell into this ranking, it means that they probably had a good episode associated with them, because there was a lot to talk about. If you recall, in Ella Enchanted, we ended up talking a lot about how, like, Ella and Prince Char are secretly, like, the slightly left-leaning white girlfriend and, like, the Republican white boyfriend, like, being begged to care.
Yeah.
That really stuck with me from that episode, I have to say.
Yeah. You know, that's really, like, if you want, like, a spicy episode, if you want to, like...
If you want to hear a take.
If you want to hear a take, listen to the episodes that are in our worst. And if you want to hear, like, something heartfelt and something where, like, we were probably tearing up or something, probably, like, listen to the best, which we'll do later.
Yes. And people got mad at us at TikTok for our Ella Enchanted takes, and that's how you know that we're maybe doing something right.
Yeah, you know, don't let the haters get you down.
They said those bitches have too much time on their hands.
So my fourth one is Easy A.
Oh my god. Okay, wait. I didn't put that on my list, but like I low-key agree, but please say things.
There was not one part of my soul that was like impressed by Easy A. It wasn't good.
Your soul wasn't touched?
No, like it's not old enough for me to have real nostalgia for it, and there was no element of it that I don't feel was derivative from other things. Like there was the whole thing is like an Scarlet Letter reference. So like it's just not really giving me anything new.
Third worst for me personally is Life Size.
Oh.
Because, okay, guys, I know you've probably heard the episode, but when you imagine Life Size in your mind, if you haven't seen it for a long time, you think, oh yeah, Lindsay Lohan, Tyra Banks, she's like her pseudo mother, and there's witchcraft and there's soccer, and she sings the song at the Christmas party. But what you don't remember is that Lindsay Lohan is basically a supporting character.
Yeah.
And also that this movie is like littered with like consent jokes, and like it's like weirdly about adults. It's about like horny men, and you don't remember that that's what it's about, but it's what it's about, and it's so demoralizing to revisit.
My third worst, for very similar reasons, was Enchanted. Yeah, it's like almost exactly what we just described about Life Size, where it's like you watch the trailer, you look at the movie poster, you look at all the pretty Amy Adams like content.
Yeah.
And then and there is more meat to Enchanted than there is to Life Size, for sure. And
yeah.
The animation I think is really beautiful in the beginning of Enchanted. Like I really do like the visual style. But it's that like late, okay, what is the word?
Late aughts?
Early late like late early.
It would be late
what
aughts because aughts means the zeros.
Yeah, that late aughts like girl bossery just coming out, just peeking its head. But it all being delivered by the dad, and like we came out with we in the episode we were talking about how like actually annoying and as fuck this dad is. He's like manhandling all the ladies. Meanwhile, Idina Menzel is being painted like a villain. She just wants somebody who will go to a park with her, maybe see a show. Okay, she's not trying. She's not after anything. Evil, but she really got painted that way. So yeah, that's my number 3.
My second worst, I'm sure this will not surprise literally a living
I
soul.
bet ours are the same. I bet they're the same.
Okay, so New York Minute. Yeah. Again, this is just like we're doing a long ass promo for our own show, but I think the episode that we did that has made the biggest imprint upon our listeners was New York Minute, which is the Mary-Kate and Ashley New York City movie. I'm sure you know what it is if you are listening to this. And it was like wildly racist in a way that we did not remember at all. And we kind of ended up using the movie as like an example of how when you're like a white kid, you get spoon-fed white supremacy propaganda in movies and you don't realize that that's what it is. But that is very much, whether intended or not, that is what New York Minute is, and it's gross. Yeah.
Well, okay, I'm guessing that our number 2 and number 1 are the same but swapped then.
Oh, wait, so what was your all-time worst? What was your worst?
My number 2, I put Material Girls, and my number 1, I put New York Minute. So
okay, that's not what I put.
Same reasons as you for New York Minute. And then for number 2 being Material Girls, they actually we didn't enjoy watching them for like the same reasons. There was just a lot of like white girl shenanigans that weren't amounting to anything. I don't know. They definitely made for interesting episodes, but as a film and as a rewatch and as something to appreciate, it's just not there.
Yeah, it was pretty bad upon rewatch. And Cowbells won that episode, by the way, in case you forgot.
Oh, yeah. Cowbells is classy compared to Material Girls.
It's true. Okay, and again, and Material Girls also fell into that trap, which was the same thing as New York Minute, which is sisters that are aging out of the tween demographic. Let's make them do edgy shit for no reason other than to be edgy, and then it ages like milk. And it's the exact same problem with New York Minute, like to a T. Worst movie, biggest disappointment upon rewatch, I would say. It's got to be A Cinderella Story.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because
I get that.
I cannot emphasize enough to everyone listening that as a young person, as a kid, I was a writer, and I wrote, I mean, I still write, but whatever. I would write like short stories, like they were basically like episodes of a TV show, and the entire thing was so formed in my mind from A Cinderella Story and the music of early Avril Lavigne. That was it. That was the context. And like when she comes out in the dress, I was always like, hell yeah, this is the best movie ever. And then we rewatched it, and it was so much worse than I remember. It hits like every area of problematicness, but the reason why it gets the top ranking in this category for me is that episode was so fun to make that it just holds a place in my heart as a classic Sleepover Cinema episode. Our old episodes, when we were there in person and we were like kind of drunk, like they were like a tight 45 of like gold only. Like they were so good, I have to say. It was because we were sitting in my really hot hallway and we were desperate to get out of there, so we got it all out of our systems.
And we were also just unhinged in general. The state of the world and everything. Yeah. It's still the truth, but it's the truth in a different way now. It was
still new back then.
Yeah.
Audrey was still just like deep in Animal Crossing, like early quarantine, like sitting at our parents' house vibes.
I literally every night. Okay, let me know if any of you guys have a craving or an addiction to Utz pretzel rods. Because it was those. It would be that huge container of those and white wine. Particularly Hess white wine. I kid you not, bring the
Chardonnay.
Yeah, I'd bring the entire bucket of pretzel rods, my Switch light, and the bottle of wine to my bed. And that is what I did for like
I didn't know that.
Months. Yeah.
Dude, that sounds kind of sweet.
It was. Honestly, I loved that I didn't have a job anymore because it ended because I couldn't be there in person. We couldn't be there in the office, and I was post-PAing, and then I could get unemployment. So I literally was just like,
she was literally getting paid to lay in her bed and play Animal Crossing and drink wine. Wait, can you tell them what your job was though? Because I feel like the listeners would be interested in that.
Yeah. So then when COVID hit, I was a post-production assistant on the movie Respect, which just came out recently. It's the Aretha Franklin biopic starring Jennifer Hudson. But yeah, if you go see it, my name is there.
It is there. It's really cool. Can we do these listener questions? I'm excited.
Yeah. So we asked our listeners, for questions about literally anything, and I think the gathering of questions we got was a really fun range, and also like better than I could have ever asked for. So
yes, thank you to everyone who asked questions in advance.
Yes. So the first question comes from Leah Ruth 13, and it is, what's your favorite DCOM?
Okay, so my premeditated answer was Read It and Weep, because I think that the concept is extremely strong, which is the one with Danielle Panabaker and Kay Panabaker, and it's like the girl writes her weird stories about her life in that crazy font, and then it gets like leaked, and then there's like a manifestation of herself that's older, and that's a thing to me. But Impulse, High School Musical 2.
Yeah. Impulse, I was between High School Musical 2 and Cheetah Girls 2. So Impulse, I'm going to say Cheetah Girls 2.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously we love those because those were the ones that were like played 5,000 times a day when we were watching Disney Channel the most. But I feel like when I was growing up, I was always like, it was like, I was too cool to unironically like High School Musical because it was so normie, and obviously I had to not be like the other girls. And you know, now looking back at it, that movie, okay, not to sound like a dummy, but like it's kind of camp in some ways, especially High School Musical 2.
Yeah.
Like when he looks into the water and it's
great.
like bad green screen.
It's just
Or
great.
not green screen, but you know. Okay, I am so excited for this question from @MissDivaLanai. What's your favorite part of the 10th Kingdom or favorite kingdom visited? Bro, I love this thing. Wait, so was Diva the person that we like introduced 10th Kingdom to?
No, that was just, well, I don't think so. That was just some random person on TikTok, I'm pretty sure, who just happened to comment that. But Diva is one of our trivia winners, so.
Yes, Diva is
There's
a beloved friend of the pod. Okay, so this demands contextualization, though.
Yeah.
So, okay, you may have like heard us bring this up in passing in a previous episode. I forget what episode it was, but the 10th Kingdom was this ABC produced limited series that was very much like Once Upon a Time, but like from 2000 instead of like 2010. And it was like 8 hours long in full length, and we got it for a road trip to North Carolina, and it was just like how it comes up on this show all the time. It was just a little too old for us, and therefore it was the best shit ever. The 10th Kingdom was way too horny for us to be able to have access to, but we had it, and honestly, thank God. So Diva asked what our favorite part of the 10th Kingdom is, or our favorite kingdom visited is. And I feel like favorite is hard to answer because I know
kind
impactful.
Of like memorable. Yeah, like most memorable kind of.
But I feel like I could also, dude, that makes me want to, even talking about the 10th Kingdom makes me want to watch it again.
Yeah.
That is like the forbidden sleepover mini season is doing a 10th Kingdom
forbidden.
review. Like, it's so forbidden, but we would have so much to say.
Yeah. And like, you guys would have to like watch it and like come along for the ride, but it's gotta be like Little Bo Peep Kingdom. I don't remember what it's called. It's for me it's a tie between like Little Bo Peep Kingdom and the like love
You mean
Kingdom.
Kissing Town?
Yeah, Kissing Town. Yeah.
Okay.
For obvious reasons. I mean, they were the most kind of like aesthetically pretty parts of the movie, the show, and so I was into it. And then Lucy Punch is there, and then you've got literally them lowering this like ugly sheep into like a glitter pond or like a glitter thing, and it emerges just like beautifully. And then in Kissing Town, everything is beautiful. You know,
everything is beautiful, and also everything is like extremely quotable from that section too.
Yeah.
Also, we can't not talk about the fact that in our very small club of hot men, Scott Cohen is really high up on that list, and he's in like most of this thing. Like, oh my God. And we didn't even realize it until like we watched it like a year ago when it was like when Audrey was home. And we watched it and we were like, oh, this is a hot man, and we did not realize it.
I think we did realize it. We just didn't talk about it. Like, we didn't say it.
Because he's supposed to be like mangy and like wild, but he's like hot.
Yeah, like it's kind of like it's like uncomfortable to like say that because
when you watch it, you'll see why.
There's almost like furry subtext, and that's what I don't like.
I don't think he's a werewolf, so that helps a little bit. Oh my God. Okay. So both the parts that you just said, I really loved. But also I really like, even though it's like a really creepy part, I always enjoy the part where they're in the swamp and they almost get consumed, because that random Procol Harum song is playing, and I bought that shit for my iPod because it was in that section. And also, when they go, I think it might be in Kissing Town, but when they do like the Snow White kiss pose,
that's when it is. Yeah,
dude, I need to rewatch it. That's my comfort show, I think. Like, it really is just so good. Ugh. Diva, thank you so much for asking about it, because I really want to do I really want to do the Forbidden Season on 10th Kingdom. That would like give me so much joy. So if you want that, let us know.
Okay, so next question is from Maddie Grow or Maddie Grow E. I think just Maddie Grow though. So here's the question. At their peak performance, in parentheses, you should also discuss what you think their best performance was. Who do you find more entertaining, Amanda Bynes or Lindsay Lohan? I've got my answer.
It's Lindsay.
It's Lindsay.
Also,
but
though,
they give different things. They do provide different things. They're different people, but I get why you would ask this question because somehow I think both Amanda and Lindsay had like the clout and the respect and for like Amanda for her like comedic timing and like chops in general, and then Lindsay for her like heart kind of. Yes. Like how she was able to be more like real. I don't know how to describe it.
Okay, my personal favorite Lindsay Lohan performance is Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen. Because I mean Mean Girls was also excellent, but
she's feeling her oats. She's feeling her oats the most.
She's feeling her oats. She gets to be bitchy, but she also gets to be vulnerable. But I think she's basically playing herself in that movie, which I love.
Yep, I agree.
Okay, this next question comes from the GOAT, Joey. Joey Sunny Design on Instagram. They are one of the nicest people that we have encountered in our journey. And they also, just to brag about them a little bit, do graphics and like product packaging for Trixie Mattel, which is really, really cool. Hi Joey.
Literally the most lit ever.
Yes, we theoretically have some merch in the crock pot with Joey, so we'll see what happens. And it's not dependent on them. They literally would be ready the second that we said it. We're just kind of like, what are we doing? Okay. Anyway, Joey says, I know y'all have talked about childhood toys before, but I am so curious to know what y'all's favorites were, with the pleading eyes emoji and a pink heart. Audrey, you go first. I'm curious what yours were.
It's kind of like all the mainstays I was into, like Barbie, Bratz, Littlest Pet Shops, Webkins.
I will say though, slight generational divide between you and me for Littlest Pet Shop and Webkins to a certain extent. But please continue.
I loved, I don't know, I guess those would be the main ones. I was really into Littlest Pet Shops though. Like I did have the mansions. I had the little mansions. I had like the different house things. I wish I could remember what they were called because they had good names.
They did.
But I was really into it. Like if you were to gauge how into it I was, it's like just short of making those YouTube videos that are like the LPS like role play videos.
Yes.
That is something that I would have done, but I think I just didn't know it was happening. So, but yeah, that like me, Hannah, and my cousins Aaron and Julia, like we did that. We literally did that just with Bratz dolls, not with LPS.
That is actually the most forbidden content that we have. But my favorite childhood toys, okay. So I got the Barbie airplane when I was like 4. And that was extremely lit. That was great. I had a lot of Polly Pockets, like the really small ones.
Wait, Hannah, we didn't have the airplane though.
No, we did.
No, we didn't.
Audrey, I am your elder, and we had it.
Where did it go? Did we give it away?
We didn't. So the problem was, or not the problem, but like the thing with it is that it had like a ton of really tiny pieces and we were kind of too young for it. So mom, I'm pretty sure, had to keep like the choking hazard elements of it away from us. And then I think she lost them. So a lot of the coolness of it like didn't really pay off. But I don't think you're going to remember this if I describe it to you. But like the wings. So what it looked like is like there were pieces of it, and the part that we would play with was like the inner like cabin.
Yeah.
And there were chairs, and there was like a little food cart you could push up and down,
but
and there
like,
was like a little radio walkie-talkie.
But like, where did this toy go? Because like I kind of remember what you're talking about, but I know we don't have it anymore.
No, we don't have it anymore. I think that we like gave it maybe to Lily and Ava or someone.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Who are our not cousins, but basically younger cousins.
We also had these great Barbie cars that were awesome. Hannah had a golden convertible, and I had a purple VW Bug, and we had also a blue minivan with a picnic in the back. It was great.
Yes, because we had a blue minivan. So we got, in real life, we had a blue minivan. Yeah, we were obviously extremely lucky in the toy department. So shout out mom and dad for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Last question before our break comes from etac_retrop23. Rather, retropy23. What's your favorite Disney Renaissance movie? I'm going to say The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, so I looked up, so I'm newly an iPad bitch, first of all, and I looked up what counts as the Disney Renaissance movies, and we have The Little Mermaid, Rescuers Down Under, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, The Lion King, Pocahontas, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Hercules, Mulan, and Tarzan.
I think The Little Mermaid, but there's a lot of close calls there.
Yeah, I gotta say Little Mermaid, just because what a movie.
Yeah, but
those
like
songs,
close calls are like Beauty and the Beast and Hercules, but we just didn't watch them that much.
Yeah, so we didn't have those movies on VHS when we were growing up. So, like, I was just going to say, I always really liked Hercules, but I think I only saw it, like, twice growing up because we probably got it from the library or something. Yeah, we couldn't watch it, like, 5,000 times in a row. Let's take a little break here. Go get a snack, go refill your drink, go cross the street, go get on your train, go walk your dog, or keep walking your dog, and we'll be right back.
We are back at the 1 year Sleepover Cinema Extravaganza Spectacular.
Ooh. Da, 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 da.
And we've got a few more questions from our amazing listeners. So, the first one is from Danae at the great Danae 1129. 1129, that is our mother's birthday.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So if that's also true for you, then let us know. A Sagittarius, maybe.
It's said. Oh, right. No.
Yes. We don't know if Danae is a Sagittarius, but maybe.
I don't think that she is.
Oh, okay. So Danae asks a few questions, but we're going to answer them all because we are dedicated. So, number 1, favorite local restaurant. What is it for you?
Well, what do we mean by local?
For you, Cleveland.
Oh,
or
okay.
Ohio.
Favorite local restaurant? Honestly, I know that if you live in Cleveland Heights, this is obvious, but Tommy's just hits very well every time.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like a vegetarian, vegan, and not restaurant in Cleveland Heights, and it's like been on this one road for a million years, and it's very tasty and good.
It's so good. I agree. That's what I would say. And then for mine, it also they both kind of apply to both of us, I feel like. Mm-hmm. My favorite local restaurant is called Whitman's.
I was wondering if that's what you were going to say.
Yeah, and it's a burger place, but I swear, like, so there used to be a Whitman's where Hannah and I used to live in the East Village, on East 9th. There is a Whitman's, and it was like 100 feet from our apartment door, like not even, like it was like 50 feet. And it was my weakness. Like every day passing that what is painful, you know? Question 2 is, what's the earliest memory you guys have of each other? Which obviously is hard. Like it's harder for me to answer, I think. But yeah, do you know? And it's also hard because our first moment that we saw, literally that Hannah saw me, is recorded. So there's kind of a lot of that conflating home videos with memories. I don't know.
And as Audrey, for no reason other than just being a Cancer, has archived and like organized every home video that we had in a spreadsheet, all linked to like Google Drive video files. So like you could give us like a year and a month and a holiday, and like we could go find evidence of it like right now.
Yeah. That was my other quarantine activity. That was the other thing I did.
Yes. I mean, and honestly, it's like the most clutch thing ever. Like I use it all the time.
It's great.
It's so good. Okay, I have 2. I have one that's from when we were really, really, really little, and then I have my favorite memory of young you, which was not documented in anything. I just remember it from real life. Both of these things. So the first one is, I gotta be like 2, like really young. Is when Audrey was still a baby. I loved Toy Story when I was a little kid, and I had this memory of us laying on a blanket next to each other, and my mom was taking pictures of us. And like Audrey was still like a wiggly little infant, and I had like a Woody the Cowboy action figure like with me, and it was laying in between me and Audrey, and I was like, that dumb baby's gonna grab my action figure. And I remember like throwing him under the blanket, and I was like, she'll never know. So that's my like baby one. And then my other one, do you know what it's gonna be?
No.
Okay, my other one is, so when we lived in Boston, I was in 1st grade and Audrey was in preschool. Well, there's actually kind of 2 that I think of. The first one is that one time, so we were like renting this house in Wellesley, Massachusetts, and we normally had like a big backyard, like we played outside all the time, but like our outside playing options were like vastly limited by living in this house. And one time Audrey and I just like walked around the house, and I removed a leaf from every plant that we passed and taped it onto Audrey's outfit. And so there is a picture of Audrey with like different leaves taped all over her outfit.
There's video of that.
Is there?
Yes.
Okay, well that's not the one I was originally going to say. But the one I was really going to say is that in 1st grade, Audrey had like preschool like half the day or something. And every day when Audrey and Mom would come get me from school, Audrey would say, I made you a surprise, or like I have a surprise for you. And then it was always in the same corner of our living room that she would always put something. And most of the time it would just be like a drawing that was like, Hannah loves Audrey, like a little drawing, or like Audrey loves Hannah. Or and then some days I remember one time I came home and it was cheetah print slippers and some Crayola markers because Mom had clearly gotten in on it. And it was just really, really cute. And it was like literally every day. Like I'm not exaggerating. It was every day.
I remember that too, because I had a really distinct schedule. I think that might have been like my best, like just like what a great schedule I had in
what was it?
Preschool. Because it was morning preschool, and then I would come home. My mom would make me a ham sandwich. I would watch Mr. Rogers and Dora, and then once that was over, that's when I would figure out the surprise for the day. And And then you would come home, and then I was like set for the rest of the day because we also shared a room. Then.
Yes.
So I feel like once you were home, it's like, okay, I'm spoken for the rest.
What makes you feel inspired?
I don't know. I mean, there's the things that we've talked about before, like that we know inspire us both, which is like, kind of like communities in the arts, sort of, or like kids in the arts, or like being able to.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Being able to like have an impact in that way. There's an ice cream truck.
Yeah. Okay. That gave me my answer, which is that I think what inspires me the most as like there's also a question down the line here that says what inspires you in life, and I'm going to merge those two for this, which is that for me, like connecting with people and like helping people to like achieve their potential is really exciting and good for me, like especially because I am a music teacher and I have a lot of students who are like at a very wide age range and like I had a girl tell me the other day after her show, she's like a junior in high school, or she just started her senior year, and she was like, I feel like I'm finally becoming who I am like after this show that we did, and I was like, that is some coming of age shit, and I am so glad that you shared that with me. Like it's just so that's been really like meaningful to me.
I just strive for earnesty without being cringy. Like that to me is great.
That's
I know
the
that
goal.
It's a hard thing to do, and I don't know
I'm constantly crossing the line.
I don't know that we succeed. But that is always the goal.
Yes.
Because it just feels true. It's not like contrived, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, I totally agree. That the line of earnesty and cringe is where I live on that line. Ethan Newberger asks, what instructions did you give your composer for him to make your theme song? What an interesting question, Ethan. Thank you so much. So our theme song composer is Josh Perlman Hall, who is my boyfriend and my creative intern, low-key. But he composes music for my other podcast, and also he did some original music for the documentary. He's like super talented. And for the theme song, I gave him, I think, Stronger by Britney Spears and Come Clean by Hilary Duff, and probably like an Avril Lavigne song, and was like, this is the stew that we're working with. How can you make this happen? And he said the hardest part of making the song was finding the right drum sound. Like that really punchy, like 2000s drum sound is really hard to find, I guess. And I don't even know if he ultimately found the exact thing, but yeah, I gave him some reference songs and he really killed it.
So Blanton asks, how did this podcast start? Which I don't know if we've ever described it on this podcast, but I know we've described it on other. Yeah, we've described it on other podcasts.
I'm going to give you the real origin story of how this podcast started. So I am a professional podcast producer. I do this show, but I also work for Evergreen Podcasts, which at the beginning of every episode, when you hear that little ding thingy, that is the audio logo for Evergreen. And so I've worked there for a couple of years now, and I'm now their senior producer, so hee for me. But basically, there was this scenario, and it's kind of complicated, but there was a scenario in which we promised to make like a zillion podcast episodes, and one of the shows that we originally had promised to make had some legal issues surrounding it, I will just say. And basically we ended up having to come up with something else to occupy that slot of content that we said we were going to make. And I was like, what's something I could produce? And I was supposed to produce the show that had all the illegal stuff around it. So I was like, okay, what show could we produce that would be chill and fun and easy, especially for me? And I was like, I like texted Audrey out of the blue one day, and I was like, thoughts on doing a podcast where we review late 90s, early 2000s movies. And she was like, sure, I guess. And then we recorded a pilot, and then they decided to buy a first season, and we just keep growing, and now we're 3 seasons deep, excuse me, and it's going well. So but ideologically, I feel like we started to like give these movies their flowers probably like 2 years before the podcast started, and we would like text about it a lot. And now it's like our job basically, so it's a little different in that sense. But I think also it has really enabled Audrey and I to really work on our working relationship a lot. Like, we just always get it done. We have gotten really good at, like, even if we're annoyed, we're good at putting it away, and we just record the episode, and when it's over, we're like, okay, everything's chill, you know? So the next question is from Andrew Crane 101. Any sequels you prefer over the original? Cheetah Girls 2, I guess. I don't know, though.
Yeah, I think Cheetah Girls 2 for sure, and low-key Little Mermaid 2. Like, it's fun. It's
okay, we just had a really good time doing that episode. Like, that was a really fun episode. Also, I do want to answer the question, or maybe instead of saying our opinions on TV and remakes, like, what are you watching right now that you're enjoying?
I think you guys kind of understand our opinion on TV and remakes, because I feel like I do bring it up sort of often. We'll talk about things that are going on in like the current TV zeitgeist, like a little bit, or the movie zeitgeist, like this Camila Cabello Cinderella, this Gossip Girl reboot, this Every Show on the Planet reboot.
Yeah,
it's basically a cash grab. But what am I watching that? Oh, I'm watching Big Brother, the reality TV show. I love it so much. I love it so much. I never thought I didn't know that I would ever care about that show, but guys, it is actually psychotic what goes what goes on. And if you want to watch a season, if you want to get into it, watch season 16. It has Frankie Grande in it, okay? But it's a great season, and you'll enjoy it.
I should watch it. I will say, I somehow have never watched The L Word, but I just started it, and I'm gonna watch it all. Here's the thing: I never watch TV that's like good TV, because I'm really bad at committing to watching things. But if it's something that's like bad and I can just have it on in the background as I like toil, then it's ideal, and that is what The L Word is. The L Word, honestly, season 1 is like softcore porn. Like, I'm kind of shocked that was on TV, but also like it was on Showtime, so not really.
Yeah.
But I am having a good time, I have to say. And our last question is from Lulu26, and they ask what our favorite sleepover memories are. Does that mean the podcast or actual sleepovers?
No, like actual sleepovers.
Okay. The first thing that comes to my mind is that we probably have more bad sleepover memories than good ones, because we were both so anxious as children.
You know what, though? By the time I was doing sleepovers, well, if they were with family, I was fine. Like, I was always chilling. But I think I waited kind of longer than most people do to do friend sleepovers, because I really do remember like all my friend sleepovers, so I think I was okay. But one, like, my most cherished is probably when the four of us, you, me, Aaron, and Julia, would sleep over at our grandparents' house, and just the rituals of that. And like, our grandpa would always tell us a story that he would make up on the spot, but it always stars the same main character, and that character is Dumb Bunny. And there came a point where Grandpa decided that the series was going to come to an end, and it was like the series finale, and it was like Dumb Bunny goes to space or something.
Yes. Yeah. So totally agreed. I had a lot of sleepover anxiety kind of later in my childhood. I had a really traumatic sleepover at Grandma and Grandpa's house. I had a really bad one at my friend Brittany's house where I got somehow like I had like a fear of 3D video games that was also cooked into all of this. So like I remember they were playing Frogger and it was like freaking me out. I was like, I gotta go. Like it was bad. Like I had to call mom and dad, like, and they came and got me, I'm pretty sure, in the middle of the night. So those are the bad ones. That's like a whole other story. But I think my favorite sleepover memories were also with the cousins at their house though. And one of them is just watching The Princess Bride at their house. That is really in my brain. But I think my favorite one was when we watched Phantom of the Opera at a sleepover. And when Gerard Butler sings for the first time, our cousin cried.
Because we had like hyped it a lot to her.
Yeah,
and
we hyped it so much.
Yeah, and so
like we'll talk about it more when we inevitably do a Phantom episode, but that one was really, really good.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. Okay. I think we should call the listener question segment now because we could really just keep going forever. Our final segment in the longest episode of all time. And it's our best rewatches or favorite episodes / combination.
Okay, so I'm looking at your list and I'm looking at mine and they are very different, which
okay, well that's good.
Is good.
That's
so
good.
let's just say like you say yours, I'll say mine.
And then we'll explain.
And then we'll explain, yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm switching one of my orders. Okay. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay. My 5th best was Passport to Paris.
My 5th best is Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I said Passport to Paris because I loved this movie growing up. It's so embarrassing. It's like so fun to remember. And I just love watching it back and realizing that Mary-Kate and Ashley literally rework the Paris aqueduct system in that movie.
Yeah.
Like that is what they do. And that's not even like the main plot. Like that's just like a random thing. They just do that.
And they explain it verbally. They just say it out loud. It's funny.
Yeah, like, oh my God, their outfits are great. They're matching but not matching. The whole beginning sentence dinged with a bounce in the numbers lab. I mean, damn. That movie was exactly how I remembered. 4th favorite for me was Cheetah Girls.
I said Holes.
Ooh, okay. I loved the Cheetah Girls episode experience because you were really funny in that episode. Like, I just remember you saying that is so not Cheetah-licious or like something in the middle of the episode, and I thought that was so funny. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of beef in that franchise, so that's fun to talk about. And it was one of those good early show episodes that were just like a little bit too chaotic that I just love.
Mm-hmm. I was thinking of this more from the perspective of like not even the episode, but like the rewatch, like literally me sitting there watching it.
That's okay.
So Holes, because well, obviously we love talking to Yara, and like Yara always elevates our shit. So that's good. But just from the rewatch alone, Holes is a film. Holes is art. So that's
it's true. I had rewatched Holes kind of a lot leading up to it, so I was already expecting it to be as good as it was. Okay, my 3rd best was Twilight.
I said my 3rd best was The Little Mermaid too.
Okay, well, I want to hear why. But But I know for me, Twilight was my favorite, or one of my favorites, because Meg and Liz were like the perfect guests, and we didn't even realize that at the time. Like they, like Liz is a big fan of the show. I also love her. Her TikToks are so good. Slash, just all of her posting is so good. Like, even if you don't know who Meg and Liz are, you should follow them, because Liz's vulnerability on the internet is truly
unmatched.
She is on, okay, when we were talking about the line of earnesty and cringe, she's on that line, but she's firmly on the earnest side, which is great.
Yes.
Also, she's going to hear this, so hi, Liz.
Yeah, hi, Liz. Honestly, it's still a little unreal that, like, my little 8th grade, 9th grade YouTube obsessed, like, that girl is she's still here, and like that, it's
she
crazy.
Lives in you.
Yeah, it is a little bit crazy. I know that's like all Meg and Liz ever hear, basically, but
yeah,
it's true. It was just a win. Yeah, it was a win.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way about the Little Mermaid 2 episode. That episode has almost 1,000 views on YouTube. And I don't
know why.
I don't know why, but I think it's just we gotta attribute that to the sheer power, the mystique. The mystique of the Little Mermaid 2. People see that and they're like, wait, what? They're either, wait, I didn't know there was Little Mermaid 2, or they're like, yeah, I know there is, and it's great. And like, it's the best of the sequels, of the shitty Renaissance sequels. So,
yes.
Yeah, that's my reasoning.
Yes. I also loved that someone listened to that episode and then messaged us saying that they appreciated that we worked transformative justice into our analysis of Little Mermaid 2, which was about rehabilitating Morgana. She didn't have to get frozen in ice and then sunk to the bottom of the fucking ocean. Okay.
And we wonder why people on TikTok with no context are like, these ladies have too much time on their hands.
Second best. I said Aquamarine.
I said Aquamarine too.
Okay, nice.
Second best. And the only reason it's second best is because this is an obvious answer from us. I feel like that everyone would think Aquamarine would be number one, but I've also seen it a lot more than all the other movies, so it's like elite, but we got to bring it down to 2 just because we've seen it a lot. So upon rewatch, it's like, of course it's good,
right. But I really loved it as a season 1 closer. I thought that was a really good place for it, because the best part of Aquamarine is the ending. Which, that is so rare in a movie like this, for it to, like, for the ending to be the best part, but that's the best part. All-time best experience for me, well, not all time, but so far best experience for me, was Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
I said Uptown Girls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to explain first?
That shit just hits me. It just hits me. There is the combination of interesting visual style, great performances and casting from Brittany Murphy and Dakota Fanning, and then had it been other people, the cracks in the writing might have shown through a lot more, but Brittany is just so there, and she felt like that person. So, again, I recommend, I don't think it was out at the time when we published the Uptown Girls episode, but Yara has a great video about Brittany Murphy. It made me cry. Like, it's just...
Yeah. Mine was Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, and it is because it made me really emotional. It may have been the wine, it may have been the hot hallway speaking, but I think that one of the, like, biggest, like, bittersweet things of my life, or, like, biggest challenge that I've had to overcome and, like, really accept, like, I really love my friends, and my friends mean so much to me, but, like, people grow apart. Like, that's just how it is. And there was something about Sister of the Traveling Pants's, like, total rejection of the idea that they would grow apart and that they have things in common. Like, the fact that they, like, pretend like this is a friend group that would work, like, really just struck me as, like, a very, like, beautiful artistic gesture in a strange way. And, like, it made me sad thinking about, like, friend groups that have come and gone, or, like, friends that have come and gone, or, like, exes or whatever, and, like, seeing this movie just, like, reject that made me really think about my relationships and, like, really put it in perspective. And it's just, like, a great teen movie. There's things about it that make no sense, but the cast is incredible. It just made me feel a lot of things, and I wasn't expecting to feel those things when I watched it.
Right. Yeah, I remember that. You really hadn't seen it in so long, you kind of didn't remember anything.
Yeah.
Which was good. It was, like, a good surprise, and I was like, Hannah, get ready. You're gonna cry. I don't think you did cry, but I did. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Well, I didn't cry at, like, the obvious stuff, like the death and the
Bailey leukemia
stuff.
situation.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
In case you haven't seen it. And I would also just like to give an honorable mention to, like, all of our guest episodes have been really, really fun. And we already mentioned Yara, but especially our mom. I just want to give her another shout out for having done that episode with us, because she really shared a lot of interesting things, and it was really fun to talk with her. And she listens to every episode, and we love her and support her. So thank you, Mom, for listening to our show. And yeah, I think that rounds out our top things, our top experiences. So really, I guess all we have left to say is just a really big thank you to anyone and everyone who is listening to this, who has listened to, like, 2 episodes, who's listened to everything, people who are in our DMs, people who observe from a distance,
the people who guess the movie every week.
And to all of the friends that we've made along the way so far. We've met so many cool people, and we'll just continue to, hopefully. So thank you for supporting 2 gals just out here trying to find the depth and the beauty in the movies that we were so formed by and continue to be so formed by. Speaking of which, the second half of season 3 of Sleepover Cinema, Audrey's drumrolling, is going to be entirely musicals. Hey. I hope that anecdotes of our theater kid pasts come up. There's so many. I mean, we're talking Hairspray, we're talking Chicago, we're talking DComs, probably, like any
Phantom.
movie musical. What'd you say?
Phantom.
Oh, duh. Absolutely Phantom. I don't know if we're going, like, Sound of Music deep, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know either. But she is the namesake, you know what I'm saying? We'll see.
So, and of course, shout out to Ethan Newberger for suggesting that idea to Audrey one day, because we are running with it. We think it's going to be really fun. The first year of Sleepover Cinema, we did it.
Woo!
Good for us, and good for all of you for hanging with us. We will be back next week with a new episode on a musical, and remember our promise, speaking of musicals, about the reviews. Leave us a review and we'll make you a song.
Not only will it be a musical episode, but we will also have musical performances.
We're retheming as a music podcast. No, we're not. Anyway, we love you so much, and we'll see you again soon.
Bye. You can find more from us at evergreenpodcast.com/sleepover-cinema and keep up with our latest creative projects at toopinkpictures.com. If you want to watch our show as well as listen, we're on YouTube too. Search Sleepover Cinema or go to the linktree in our Instagram bio. We're on Instagram and Twitter at toopinkpictures and would love to hear from you there. We're also on TikTok at Sleepover Cinema, and that's really where the party is at.
And if you like the show, if it brings back evocative memories of childhood or tweendom or babysitting, share the episode with a few friends. Leave us an iTunes review telling us what movie you'd like to see us cover next, and leave us a review if you like the show, and if you don't. Sleepover Cinema is a production of Evergreen Podcasts, produced, edited, and engineered by us, Hannah and Audrey Leach. Sleepover Cinema is mixed by Sean Rule Hoffman, with theme music by Josh Perlman Hall. Special thanks to executive producers Michael D'Aloia and David Moss. We'll chat again soon.